back on the scene, aka Denzel's point of view, live from Cambodia. A little bit under the weather, but still gonna do some reporting. So, in regards to finding an opportunity, right? Yeah, the whole. Basically, I got fired from the job. Basically, the main job, right? The main job fire. I'm still doing some cover work, but I don't know. It just seems like the atmosphere of this place is it's a lot of slow money. It's the money is slow. There's a few more trading centers to go from there, but I mean, I don't know. I think the best shot would probably be we'll see because I don't know. I invested a lot. Plus, I made a down payment on an apartment. So, I mean, I potentially can. I basically can basically losing out on money. Um, I don't know if I find like something suitable by the end of the month. Things should go from here, but yeah, I got fired from basically the full time gig for the full time gig, quote unquote, right? Quote unquote. I didn't have experience. The truth is, I don't know what are these. I had an incident with one of the students, right? One of them trying to come at me with a pair of scissors, right, on some crazy stuff. So I basically snatched the scissors from his hand, then made him, which we'll call it, because we were doing math, we were doing like math equations. So basically, he had to do like the rest of the math equations by himself. You know what I mean? I probably should have just sent him outside. I don't know. I mean, it was just really spur of the moment. Really a spur of the moment. Like I said, he came at me with a pair of scissors. Yeah, basically snatched the scissors from his hand and made him do the rest of the math work. I'm pretty sure that is the reason because I mean they knew from the jump that I didn't have a whole lot of experience. I mean, the thing about Cambodia, which I was warned about, right, is that because it's not like Vietnam. Like Vietnam, there's a lot of public centers, right? There's a lot of public centers in Vietnam. Cambodia, you're basically working like private centers for basically like rich assholes. So like rich assholes in private centers is pretty much what you're subjected to in Cambodia. Now, Battambang or this area I'm at, I mean ideally it would be good because it's family oriented, right? There's a lot of families, right? There's a lot of yeah, it's more family oriented. There's more kids, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna stick to the training centers. I mean, I have a training center job. I mean, the pay isn't that good either. The hours are shit. If I can get a little something, something, but by the time, cause what is it? Like I got about 10 more days. But if that doesn't work, then I'm pretty much shooting towards Phnom Penh. That'll probably be the better. I can't read your name. Are you Russian? I see your name's in Russian. Are you from Russia? I can't even pronounce your name. Are you from Russia? R something something something. Are you from Russia? Are you from Russia? Yeah. Well, I'm just going over. I'm just going over my time in Cambodia so far. Cambodia. How would I describe it? It is rougher. I mean, apartments are cheap. Food isn't that cheap compared. Well, I mean, even Phnom Penh, the food is more expensive. um, I don't know. The people here, I don't know. It's very tribalistic. I would say Cambodia. I would say out of all the places I've been, more on the tribalistic tip. More on the tribalistic tip. Um, and like I said, this town is very small. Like things close by like 8 o'clock. Um, there was a place I wanted to go. I think I think it's like Choi Pei or Choi P. Basically, it's like operated by the Chinese, and they have like casinos. Okay, Anavar, what's up? Anavar, hello, Anavar, Anavar. I can't pronounce your last name, but yeah, Anavar, what's up? But yeah, Cambodia, the atmosphere, like I said, it's at least this town, like I said, smaller, more tight knit, more tribalistic, less trusting of outsiders, Um, things close by like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Town's pretty much dead. Um, yeah, so I mean, not a whole lot to do. I wanted this place to be a good cushion. You know what I mean? For me to keep a low profile, get things going. But I mean, if that doesn't work, you know what I mean? I would say I'm gonna give it like one more week, and then shoot for, then shoot for Phnom Penh. Cause yeah, I mean, the money here is slow, um, but I mean, there's not much to do, so it gives you enough cushion just to keep a low profile, save some money. That's what I initially wanted to happen, but I guess things didn't happen like how it happened. So yeah, I'm gonna give it about pretty much one more week, and then pretty much shoot for Phnom Penh. I mean, my best luck will probably go. Will probably be like training centers. Actually, I like training. I like training centers because it's the work is more training centers. The work is easier. You know what I mean? You just come in, you teach English for about 2 or so hours, and then you go home. It's not because I don't know the private schools. I mean, because the money wasn't that great. The conditions wasn't that great, but also, how would I describe it? They expected a lot more. So basically, like I said, private schools, you're working for like I said, like rich asshole types, like rich asshole, like the upper class Kamar types, like the rich asshole types. Private centers or like like training centers, the pay is less, but it's more straightforward. You know what I mean? The classes are generally small. It's also like adults. You know what I mean? So you're teaching adults English. You know what I mean? You basically it's similar to how it is in Vietnam, where you have a unit per day. So you teach one unit usually per day. Yeah, one unit per day, so it's about 3 or 4 pages. That's what I'm gonna shoot for. I'm gonna shoot for, and there's not a whole lot here either. There's like a handful of training centers. You know what I mean? So next week I'm gonna hit the ground running. You know what I mean? With looking for training centers around this area. If that doesn't work, my best bet would probably be Phnom Penh, because that's the capital. That's where the money's at. But also more competitive though, because I mean it's more competitive because Cambodia is. I would say Cambodia is it's easy. It's walking in like getting in through the door without a degree is, I would say, probably the easiest out of because it's Cambodia, Myanmar, and Laos. But Cambodia, compared to the other places, you know what I mean? It's catered more, at least like, I would say at least like, I would say at least like the bigger cities like Sonam Reap, Phnom Penh. You know what I mean? They cater more towards foreigners. They draw more of an international, more of an international, more international people. But also with that, it's also more competition. Um, we'll see though. We'll see though. I mean, I think my best bet would probably be training center work. Training center work. Like I said, I like training centers. I guess the only thing about training center is that because it's adults paying with their own pockets, so the money is a lot slower. You know what I mean? Just doing training center work, but yeah, I mean, I wanted to give and I wanted to give this town a chance just because the only reason why I'm here is because a friend of a friend. You know what I mean? A friend of a friend referenced me to this area. I figured this would be a good area just because things are more low key, more chill. I could keep a low profile, work a job, get my own apartment. You know what I mean? Stack up some dough. You know what I mean? Until I get a good enough cushion. Um, yeah, things again, unfortunately, has not worked out good for me in this town, at least. You know what I mean? Like I said, money's slower. The locals, like I said, not very trusting, more tribalistic. Um, I don't know, a lot of cynicism, a lot of suspicion. Um, Phnom Penh is rougher. I mean, not it is rougher. It's a bit more. It's a bit more on the wild side, but as I mean, they cater a little bit more towards foreigners, especially on my ilk. You know what I mean? The job situation is more competitive, but there's also more opportunities. There's more opportunities. I mean, I wanted Vietnam to work to be honest, just because the money you can make versus your living expenses, I would say it's probably the best out of Southeast Asia, to be honest. Um, the thing about Vietnam is like they're doing more crackdowns on teaching, teachers without a degree. You can still get your foot in the door, but finding suitable work probably isn't the best option right now. So, like I said, there's a lot of hurdles. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, but still, they're still going to keep out of the course. I'll find something. But yeah, this town unfortunately didn't work. But there's other places, there's other opportunities. And as long as I keep at it, you know what I mean. Something suitable should click. Something suitable should click. That was complete bullshit. Like I said, private schools, you know what I mean, probably not the best option for your boy, just because, like I said, working for the rich asshole types who expect a lot, pay very little. You deal with more bullshit. Like I said, that was crazy. Like I said, quote unquote, you know what I mean, was fired, quote unquote, because I didn't meet the requirements. Really, it was just, just chastising a student that was being very rowdy. You know what I mean? Coming at your boy with a pair of scissors. But I mean, shit happens. I mean, what could I say about this city? I mean, it's slow pace. You know what I mean? It's slow pace. Not a whole lot goes on. Um, it is cheap. Like I said, rent's cheap. Hostels are cheap. Food is a little bit more pricey. Um, Not as pricey as Phnom Penh, but it's Cambodia, so they get a lot of imports. You know what I mean? They're real dependent on imports, so food, especially compared to Vietnam. Like Vietnam, like you can eat You can eat like a full course. Let's say like a full course meal, right? A full course meal that would cost you, I would say probably about like 15, $20. You could get that for like $5 to $7. Here, that's not the case. You know what I mean? Food's a little bit more pricey. Um, Transportation is cheap. Um, I mean, like housing's cheap. But anything outside of that, it's gonna run you up just because of the imports. Just because of the imports. Um, yeah, I mean, it kind of is what it is. What you recall, I spent the first 2 weeks of the new year in this area. Charlie, what's up, Charlie? What's going on, Charlie? What's up? Yeah, I mean it saved my ass. I'll give the city that. You know what I mean? It saved my ass. It kept me situated. Yeah, it kept me situated. Saved my tail. Um, I was able to find work quick too. Like the first day I was here, I found the job. So I think, and I'm coming through with a bad cold, so I really need to get some, shit shaking, shit popping. But I'm gonna hit the ground running next week. Head up, the few training centers that's around here, because like I said, this is a small town. Um, you know what I mean? Pretty much everybody knows everybody. Like I said, small town vibes, small town tribal vibes. But I'm gonna hit the ground running. If that doesn't work, then I'm pretty much gonna have to pack it, go to Phnom Penh, and just really hit the ground running. Keep expenses as low as possible because Phnom Penh is bigger. There's more stuff to do. It's a 24-hour sort of a city. A little bit wild, you know what I mean? There's a lot of wild stuff going on, you know what I mean? Like Chinese mafia sort of stuff, you know what I mean? Like I'm talking about some real, like southern Cambodia. There's a lot of some real shady stuff going on. So I mean, as much as I kind of complain about the city, you know what I mean? Like I said, not being the most fun, not having the most stuff to do, it is relatively safe compared to other places in Cambodia. Yeah. Cambodia can get really sketchy. You know what I mean? Especially the border towns. You know what I mean? The border towns towards the north going, across the Thailand border. Also, the southern border towns can also get pretty sketchy. So in Phnom Penh, like I said, I spent a couple of days in Phnom Penh before I came to the city. And Phnom Penh, like I said, a lot of fun, a lot of stuff to do. A lot more opportunities. A lot more things to get into, but also you're gonna have to watch your six a lot more. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Trying to keep a low profile as best as I can. Like I said, it's all about having resilience. It's all about just going for it. You know what I mean? What's the phrase go? Like one closed door opens another door, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like I said, yesterday I was a bit heated. Like I said, more calmed down now. Trying to get a game plan going together, but like I said, I don't want to leave just yet, just because I secured a deposit into an apartment. So I secured a deposit into an apartment. So if I leave here, then I basically just play myself out of $100. You know what I mean? Which would suck. You know what I mean? So I want to, like I said, at least give it a week, maybe a week and a half at most. But if things don't click within that, then I pretty much would have to, hightail it to Phnom Penh and just see about the opportunities there. Like I said, I think I get something relatively quick. I would just have to really hit the ground, really hit the ground running, and just go for the bigger centers, go for the bigger training centers. I'll give Cambodia this versus Vietnam, right? Vietnam, there is, I mean, they hire people without degrees. The process is a bit, trickier. But I mean, if you don't have a degree, you can get a job. It's just, do they find you, a suitable person to invest in? You know what I mean? Because it's about how you look, right? So it's like, the parents, invest into these schools. So it's like, you gotta look the part. You gotta look like someone worth investing to. I mean, they typically go for, like I said, Western, like white English sort of, teachers for the most part. Cambodia, they really don't care, just as long as they can lowball you. You know what I mean? That's pretty much. If they can get the teacher that they can lowball the most, then you're pretty much in the game. For me, about Phnom Penh is because, like I said, things are like, compared to here, things are 25 to 35% more expensive. So I'll have to find something adequate right away. You know what I mean? Like, hit the ground running. Find something within like that week or 2 weeks. So yeah, I basically on, the clock is ticking from here. The clock is ticking from here. So I really need to get things in order. Like I said, I want to give this at least another week, a week and a half max. If things don't work out, if I don't find any training centers or anything like suitable, then I pretty much will have to pack it. You know what I mean? Because I'll just be losing more money. But yeah, but yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, I mean, this area it's okay. Like I said, I'm only here just because of friend of a friend. What's up? What's up, Mexico? What's up? What's up? What's up, man? I definitely got to go back to Mexico, man. I definitely got to go back to Mexico. I mean, last year Mexico was kind of on the rougher tip, especially Mexico City. But yeah, greetings from Mexico. What's up? What's going on, bro? No, I'm just reporting on, because I'm in Cambodia right now. So basically, was looking for teacher work just because Cambodia offers opportunities for people without degrees. But I ran into a lot of BS, so I'm gonna have to shoot towards another city. Welcome for yeah, man. Mexico City's the shit, man. Mexico City's the shit. Mexico City is definitely the shit. To be honest, I kind of feel like a dumbass because Mexico, I think that's another place in Latin America where you can still teach English without a degree. I was just shooting towards Southeast Asia because, I had good experiences here and things are, cheaper. Welcome to the next World Cup 2026. I mean, so the next World Cup is in Mexico? I didn't know that. Mexico City? I had no clue. But yeah, anywho, like I said, I'm gonna keep the ground, hit the ground running with looking for stuff here. If shit don't get shaking and popping, like I said, within a week, then I'm pretty much out of here. You know what I mean? To Phnom Penh. Yeah, 14 match in Mexico. Oh shit. I don't know. I mean, when I get back to when I get back to North America, which I don't know when that's gonna be. That might be probably several months from now. I do want to hit up Mexico again. Mexico City. Mexico is cool. The main thing about Mexico is those police. You know what I mean? Those corrupt fucking police, man. I couldn't shake them for shit. And I wasn't like, and they were like just straight up robbing. You know what I mean? Well, that was mainly in Tijuana. Um, yeah, I would not recommend anybody to go to Mexico when it's slow, because when you go to Mexico when it's slow, especially Tijuana, the cops there are bloodhounds. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I really like Mexico. I mean, Mexico. To be honest, Mexico was that was the first place I went to. You know what I mean? That was my first time, and this was like way back. We're talking like 2019. You know what I mean? 2019. Mexico was the first place I got my feet wet with traveling. And it's where your boy became a man, you know what I mean? So Mexico, you know what I mean, always gonna have an appreciation, you know what I mean, for Mexico. But I don't know when's the next time I'm gonna be back though. Yeah, the government's corrupt. That's pretty much. I mean, that is pretty much the third world, you know what I mean? Corrupt governments, unfortunately. Yeah, I didn't know Mexico was having the next World Cup. I wasn't aware, because I don't pay attention to soccer or football like that. But that's what's up. Okay, is gonna have the next World Cup. That's what's up. That's crazy. I still got subscribers from Mexico. Still got subscribers from Mexico. But anywho, yeah, like I said, well now, like I said, I'm situated in Asia for now, so I'm still trying to do my thing here. Still trying to make it happen, but yeah, because like I said, I ran into a lot of situations, but now thinking about it now, I kind of feel like a dumbass just because Mexico and Colombia, you could teach English without a degree. So I don't know. Thinking about it now, I probably should have shoot for that. I don't know. I wanted to try Asia again because I wanted to go to China. You know what I mean? I want to see what China was about. China is intense. China's pretty crazy. Vietnam is more chill, to be honest. I like Vietnam. Vietnam was cool. It was just finding stable work was the issue. But I like Vietnam because it was cheap. Like everything's cheap. Like food's cheap, rent's cheap, transportation's cheap. Chick action, girl action. It cost a bit more, you know what I mean? Like the chicks, had like fun time. Cost a bit more, but you're getting good quality though. You're getting probably, I would say, because people talk about like Thailand and this and that, but Vietnam is very underrated in that regard. I would say Vietnam is very underrated in that regard, but pricier though, pricier. But it is worth it. It's definitely worth it, but pricier. Mexico, man, Mexico. Probably the best street action. I would say maybe like the street action there is very underrated. You know what I mean? Very underrated. Whoa. Okay, yeah. So technical difficulties. Yeah. What I was getting at? Yeah. So yeah, it's not working so much in this area. Like I said, I'm gonna give it about a week, max. You know what I mean? I'm gonna hit up the few trading centers there is. You know what I mean? like gravitate more towards trading center just because you know what I mean you're dealing with adults, you know what I mean, who they're paying for these courses, so you mean they're eager to learn. Um you know, dealing with, instead of dealing with bratty kids, like I said, you're just dealing with, adults who want to learn English. The classes are smaller. The work is more straightforward, but the pay is less. The pay is less and the hours are less. So, yeah, what I'm gonna do is hit up a few training centers around this general area. Just enough, just if I can find like, because I'm doing like 10 hours pretty much a week. So if I can get like something extra, like in the morning, something I can have like 15, 20, I should be straight. If not, then come next week, I'm gonna have to, boogie on down to Phnom Penh. Probably hit the ground running with like applying to different places and things of that nature. Yeah, that's pretty much the mode. That's pretty much the move. Like I said, things didn't or hasn't been working out like I would like for it to work out, but pretty much just keep it at it. Just keep a steady momentum, not giving up, and just keeping at it pretty much. So that's pretty much the mode. That's pretty much the move. That's pretty much the modus operandum. You know what I mean? So gonna hit up a few trading centers. Start next week. Things don't click in. By the time because I gotta get out of here. You know what I mean? Because of my visa situation. So things gotta click in before there. But yeah, that's pretty much. Yeah, I still repeat myself. Yeah, that's pretty much the mode. That's pretty much the move. So yeah, I wanted to showcase this place. Unfortunately, that hasn't been the case, dude. Just because the nature of this phone being locked in. So you know what I mean. I'm basically on Wi-Fi only action. But I don't know. Maybe I'll do like a quick walkthrough. Probably film around just a little bit. Probably like the last or second to last day. You know what I mean? Before leaving here. If things don't work out. But yeah. Yeah, probably Phnom Penh, just for the opportunity, seems to be, where the money's at. You know what I mean? Also, more competition. From what I heard, it's more cutthroat too. We'll go. I'll give this area this. I mean, because I was in a few Cambodian towns before coming to here. Um, yeah, Phnom Penh, especially like the border towns, just in general, is more cutthroat, more yeah, more cutthroat, more sketchy. You know what I mean? So going into a city like Phnom Penh, there's a lot of stuff to do. It's 24 hours, a lot of things to get into, a lot of opportunities to be had. At least for teaching centers, they're like all around in Phnom Penh. But kind of the rough, sketchy, at times cutthroat nature, I would definitely have to watch my six a bit more. Versus here, where it's like a small, tight. They're pretty much watching you. You know what I mean? They're pretty much on some neighborhood watch stuff, kind of watching your six. So I'm gonna have to reverse that. You know what I mean? Watch my back a little bit more, hit the ground running, find something. You know what I mean? With a little bit of funds I do have. But yeah, if things don't happen in one area, you know what I mean, you can always go to the next. But that's pretty much it though. I want to, cap off this live stream. Yeah, like I said, keep you guys posted with updates, keep you guys posted with info. Yeah, that's pretty much it for now. Boom.